Today we are doing Chapter 3, Lesson 5. This is 7th grade math, and today we are dividing integers. Let's start with our real-world link. A great white shark has 3,000 teeth. It gains and loses teeth often in its lifetime. Suppose a great white loses 3 teeth each day for 5 days without gaining any. The shark has lost 15 teeth in all. Write a multiplication sentence for this situation. Now, writing anything by negative 3 times 5 would be fine because it's losing teeth, so it should be a negative. Negative 3 times 5. So after the 5 days, he has lost 15 teeth, or negative 15. Division is related to multiplication. Write 2 division sentences related to the multiplication sentence you wrote for exercise 1. So let's go ahead and start here. Let's write a multiplication question, like 2 times 7. That equals 14. When we do multiplication and division, it's a triangle. Same thing with addition and subtraction. So let's start with addition and subtraction over here on a sidebar. 1 plus 2 equals 3. 3 minus 2 should equal 1. 3 minus 1 should equal 2, and so on. There's a relationship there. With multiplication and division, there is also a relationship. 2 times 7 will equal 14, and then we take this 14 and we do the opposite. So if I divide 14 by 2, it should equal 7. And if I divide 14 by 7, it will equal 2. There's a relationship there. There's a causal relationship there. With the multiplication problem that we just made, negative 3 times 5 equaling negative 15, there's also another relationship there. So we're going to draw ourselves a triangle. We're going to put negative 15 on top because remember, negative 5, so it's losing, negative 3. Changing the question. It loses 3 teeth per day, and it swam for 5 days, is what we're saying. Negative 3 times 5 equals negative 15. Now, the inverse should work here for division. If I take that negative 15 and divide it by 5, it will equal negative 3. But if I take the negative 15 and divide it by negative 3, it will equal 5. Notice the same symbol pattern here again. When a negative is divided by a positive, it is negative. When the negative is divided by a negative, the answer is positive. Work with a partner, complete the table. Yeah, that's in the way. But let's ignore that. Multiplication sentence. So again, the same thing that we just went over. 2 times 6 is 12. 12 divided by 6 would equal 2. 12 divided by 2 would equal 6. Same signs, positive, positive. 2 times negative 4 will equal negative 8. We're going to take that negative 8, and we're going to divide. We're not going to have room on this table, but we're going to divide it by the negative 4, which will equal 2. And we would take the negative 8 and divide it by 2, which would equal negative 4. Now, same or different signs? They're both different signs. Well, lies. The negative 8 and the negative 4 were the same side, so the answer was positive. The negative 8 and the positive 2 are different signs, and the answer was negative. Negative 3 times 5 would be negative 15. If I were to take that negative 15 and divide it, we're going to go ahead and use our whiteboard because there's not a lot of space there. So we're going to go ahead and use our handy dandy snipping tool, and we're going to snip this table. Start with a blank canvas and let's paste. Brilliant. All right. So, as mentioned before, we're going to go back and write these in. We'll do a different color for each one. negative 8 divided by 2 equals negative 4. And the negative 8 divided by negative 4 equaled 2. These were different signs, and these were the same signs. The quotient here was negative 4. The quotient here was 2. The answer was negative. We're just going to abbreviate. And the answer here was positive. Negative 3 times 5 was negative 15. Negative 15 divided by, let's go ahead and start with the same one. Negative 3 equals 5. Signs were the same. Quotient was 5, and the answer was positive. If I take that negative 15 and divide it by 5 instead, my answer is negative 3. The signs were different. The quotient was negative 3, and the answer was negative. And last but not least, let's go ahead and do purple for this one. 2 times negative 5 equals 10. So 10 divided by negative 2 equals negative 5. The signs were both different, because 10 was positive and the 2 was negative. The quotient was negative 5. The answer was negative. 10 divided by negative 5 equals 2. The answers were, and we're going to go ahead and move this up because this thing does not agree with us and gets in the way. The signs were different. It was a positive 10 and a negative 5. The answer was negative 2, and it was negative. So again, based on this table, when you divide two numbers that are the same symbol, the answer will be positive. When you divide two numbers with different symbols, the answer will be negative. And this is the same rule that we had for multiplication. Positive divided by a positive should be positive. Negative divided by a negative will be negative. Or sorry, positive. I did that last video. Negative divided by a negative will be positive. When you have a positive or negative, and it doesn't matter which way, being divided by the opposite, so a negative divided by a positive or a positive divided by a negative, our answer will be negative. So again, when they have different signs, the answer will be negative. When they have the same sign, the answer will be positive. Divide integers with different signs. The quotient of two integers with different signs is negative. So again, 33 divided by negative 11 would just be negative 3. We would just do 33 divided by 11, but remember that we need to add the negative symbol. Negative 64 divided by 8 would be the same thing as 64 divided by 8, which is 8, but we need to throw the negative symbol in there because one was negative and one was positive. You can divide integers provided that the divisor is not 0. Since multiplication and division sentences are related, you can use them to find the quotient of integers with different signs. Different signs here are 2 times negative 6, which is negative 12. Negative 2 times negative 6, which is positive 12. And over here, we have the opposite. So we're going to take that 12, negative 12, and divide it by one of the multipliers, which was 2. Negative 12 divided by 2 equals negative 6. Over here, when I divide the positive 12 by negative 2, my answer becomes negative 6. The exact same answer, but two completely different division problems. A negative divided by a positive, and over here, a positive divided by a negative. Same answer, and both are negative. Find 80 divided by negative 10. So, since one is positive, one is negative, my answer is already negative. Now I'm just going to do 80 divided by 10, which is 8. Add the negative symbol in front of it, it's negative 8. Now remember when we learned about fractions, when you see a number over another number, it is basically asking you to divide. So this means 55 or negative 55 divided by 11. We're going to ignore the negative symbol and bring it to our answer. This is 55 divided by 11, which is 5. And since one was negative and one was positive, my answer is negative. Use the table to find the constant rate of change in centimeters per hour. So after 1 hour, the height goes to 10. On the second hour, it's 8. Third hour, 6. Fourth hour, 4. So we're losing 2 each hour. This is a candle that is burning, decreasing 2 centimeters each hour. So at the end of the first hour, it was 10 centimeters. After second hour, 8. Third hour, 6. Fourth hour, 4. So the change in height is -2, and the change in hours is 1. So it's -2 divided by 1. So the constant rate of change is -2 centimeters per hour. Remember, anything divided by 1 is just 1, or sorry, that number. That's a weird example to throw in here. We're going to go ahead and do the got it's, do a few more examples, and call this one a video. 20 divided by -4, the answer will be negative. So we just do 20 divided by 4, which is 5, throw the negative symbol in front of it, -5. 81 divided by 9, or sorry, -81. We're going to throw the negative symbol down here, and 81 divided by 9 is just 9. So my answer is -9. And -45 divided by 9. It is going to be just 45 divided by 9, which is 5. But because one was negative and one was positive, my answer is going to be -5. So again, 20 divided by 4 is 5, but one was positive, one was negative. So it's -5. 81 divided by 9 is normally just 9, but because one was negative and one was positive, it's -9. And -45 divided by 9. 45 divided by 9 is 5, but since one was negative and one was positive, -5. Divide integers with the same signs. The quotients of two integers with the same sign is positive. So again, if you're dividing a positive by a positive, it's going to be positive, and a negative by a negative, the answer will be positive. Said it right that time. You can also use multiplication and division sentences to find the quotients of integers with the same sign. So, for example, 4 times 5 is 20. 20 divided by 4 will equal 5. -4 times 5 is -20. -20 divided by that -4, again, the two numbers cancel out, will make it +5. Find -14 divided by -7. Since both are negative, we are going to cancel them out. -14 divided by -7 now just becomes 14 divided by 7, which is 2. Find -27 divided by -3. Since both are negative, we cancel them out. It just becomes 27 divided by 3, which is 9. And then number 6. Evaluate -16 divided by x if x is equal to -4, which would mean that it's -16 divided by -4. Both are negative. This just makes it 16 divided by 4, which is 4. All right, we got some examples here. -24 divided by 4. Sorry, -24 divided by -4. Since both are negatives, we are going to cancel out the negatives, which leaves us with 24 divided by 4. That should equal 6, because 6 times 4 is 24. -9 divided by -3. -9 divided by -3. Both are negatives. We are going to cancel out those symbols. This leaves us with 9 divided by 3, which equals 3 as our answer. And if we work backwards, 3 times 3 does equal 9, so it checks out. And our last problem, we know both are negatives, will be -28 divided by -7. Again, both are negatives, so we cancel them out. This makes it 28 divided by 7, which should be 4. Yeah, I'm bad with my 7s. So it does equal 4. Because I know 7 times 2 is 14. Double that would be 28, so it's 4. Double 2 is 4. So the negative symbols cancel out since both are negative. Ooh, that's our snipping tool. Oh, and we have one more that we didn't do. Evaluate A divided by B if A is negative 33 and B is negative 3. So, negative, let's go ahead and fix this up. Negative 33 divided by negative 3. This will eventually cancel out again since both are negative. 33 divided by 3 will just give us an answer of 11. All right, I'm going to take a sip of water. One year, the estimated Australian koala population was 1 million. After 10 years, there were about 100,000 koalas. Find the average change in the koala population per year, then explain its meaning. This one's a depressing example. Hopefully it's not true, but either way, a little depressing. So, n minus p divided by 10, where n will represent the number of koalas that we had started, and p will represent the average change in population. So, the population here, the original population and the now, n is now, p is the population when we started. So, what we have here is 100,000 minus 1 million. Which will leave us with negative 900,000 koalas. Because if we started 10 years ago with 1 million koalas and now we only have 100,000, that means 900,000 koalas are gone. So we are going to take that negative 900,000 and divide it by 10. Since one is negative and one is positive, it is going to remain a negative answer. So let's go to our whiteboard and write this down. So again, we had 1 million koalas to start, and then now we have 100,000 koalas. What we need to know is what happened between then and now. We lost 900,000 koalas. The way we found this is we took the 100,000 that we started with and subtracted what we had at the beginning. That gives us 900,000 or negative 900,000. I know you could have also just done 1 million minus this, but it's not a positive 900,000. It's negative because that's how many we lost. So either way would have worked. We take that negative 900,000. I'm going to go ahead and erase all of this. We take that negative 900,000 koalas that we had lost and divide it by 10 to see how many koalas we lose each year. When we divide by 10, we can clearly just cut off a 0. That will leave us with this, and we're going to do a new comma there. But since 1 was negative and 1 was positive, a little absence there, my answer is still going to be negative, and it's going to be negative 90,000, which means that we, on average, lost 90,000 koalas per year, according to this example. The average temperature in January for North Pole, Alaska, is negative 240 degrees Celsius. Use the expression 9C plus 160 divided by 5 to find its temperature in degrees Fahrenheit. Round to the nearest degree, then explain its meaning. Now, I personally don't know what the difference is, 9C plus 160, to find its... So, let's do a little bit of exploration. And there's the channel's content. What is the difference between Celsius and Fahrenheit? I can't spell. Yay for the internet. Yeah, I can't spell. Okay. 180 degrees means a singular degree Celsius equals 1.8 degrees Fahrenheit. What's it? 9 times C plus 160. Yeah, I don't know where that equation comes from then. That'll have to be something that I look up later. So, going back to our question, round to the nearest degree, then explain its meaning. So, 9 times C, or 9C plus 160, divided by 5. So, I'm assuming this will be 9 times negative 24, since C should be, use the expression 9C plus. So, 9 times the degree is Celsius. So if I do 9 times 24, I'm going to say ourselves sometimes, that equals 260, or 216. But because it's negative, we're going to go ahead and write this out as negative 216 plus 120. We'll start with a blank canvas. So it said 9 times negative 24 plus 160 over 5, I believe was the expression. Now, 9 times negative 24, as we discussed, is negative 216. And we're going to add that to add 160 to it. Another way to write this would be 160 minus 216. If I do 160 minus 216, I'm going to end up with negative 56. And I'll divide that by 5, which will not give me a proper answer, but will give me the answer of about negative 11.2. We'll explain that reasoning. Round to the nearest degree, then explain its meaning, negative 11. Average temperature in North Pole, Alaska, use the expression to find its temperature in degrees. Okay, so basically what we did was we took the negative 24 degrees Celsius, and in degrees it should be negative 11 degrees. Now, let's use Google if it will be nice and see. Negative 26 degrees. Okay. What is negative? Sorry, let's just do this. Negative 24 degrees Celsius in Fahrenheit. I can't spell. And hopefully our internet is working. Let's just pause it here until, oh, no, there we go. Degrees to Fahrenheit. All right, let's go ahead and use this. All right, and we're back and it's working. So we found this converter, negative 24, converting to Fahrenheit is negative 11.2, which is what we got in our example here. So we did the math correctly. So this little conversion here, this expression is an easy way to convert Celsius to Fahrenheit. Will we use this again? I don't know, but it's nice to have in our notes. And I learned something today because I had no idea how to do this. So 9 times whatever the degrees are in Celsius plus 160 divided by 5. When we did this, we got negative 11.2. So we had negative 56 divided by 5. So when we round, this means that the average temperature in January in the North Pole is negative 11 degrees Fahrenheit. And since we use Fahrenheit, we kind of know what that means. Negative 11 is below 0, and it's going to be cold. It's going to be freezing. All right, that was a gigantic mess of a problem. But as always, I'm Mr. P. This is the last lesson for this chapter. That means the test is right around the corner. So again, any questions, comments, concerns, you got the comment section. You've got those of you in my class know my email, Teams, Ask Me in Class. I'm Mr. P, and you know the drill. Have a good one.